Hey everyone, how's it going? Cloud here, and welcome to my guide on the Morytania task system. In this video today, we'll be focusing on the medium tasks. Now, before we get going through this guide, we're going to cover a few things which are the requirements and items needed to complete all of the tasks. So, first of all, obviously you need to have completed all the easy Morytania tasks before you can begin the medium ones, and you'll need these quest requirements: Ghosts Ahoy, Shades of Morton, Fairy Tale Part 2, Cura Queen, In Aid of the Myaki, In Search of the Myaki, Darkness of Halavale, Haunted Mine, and Dwarf Cannon. And you'll need these skills: 45 Woodcutting, 22 Herblore, 14 Cooking, 29 Hunter, 33 Magic, 35 Smithing, 45 Slayer, 53 Farming, and 55 Mining. That's it for requirements. Now onto the items. You'll need 5 Ectotokens. If you haven't got any with you at the moment, I'll show you how to go about obtaining more of them. If you can't remember, just make sure you've got a few buckets and pots with you, and I'll show you that a bit later on. You'll need the Ecto Vial, which you obtained from completing Ghosts Ahoy. If you happen to lost it, you can get it back from the ghost who gave it to you at the end of the quest. I can't remember her name, but she's located in the northern house of Port Phasmatus. You'll need a Ghostspeak amulet, a Flamtaer hammer. That hammer I think can be purchased from the Grand Exchange. If not, you can obtain it during these tasks. You will need a rope and also a 3-dose restore potion. Again, that can be purchased from the Grand Exchange. Some garlic, some silver dust, or if you haven't got the silver dust, just bring a silver bar with you and I'll show you how to obtain silver dust. You will need 4 apple mush, or several apples in order to make apple mush. I brought 16 with me, currently noted, but later you'll unnote them. You'll also need 2 buckets of water, which can be obtained a bit later on. 2 barley malt, that can be purchased from the Grand Exchange. And also some ale yeast, but you'll retain that a little bit later on, so don't worry about that. You'll need a lore rune and air rune for telekinetic grab, a steel bar, ammo mould, which should be attached to your tool belt. If not, it might be in your bank somewhere. A Bittercap mushroom spore. You'll need Serum 207 or Serum 208 if Razmire is afflicted. If you're not too sure what I mean by that, refer to my Shades of Morton quest. That basically covers that. And the key to the crystal mine, or a steel keyring if that key is on the keyring. So there's a few items there. Again, those will be all listed in the video description if you're not sure if you've covered them all off or not, so just refer to that. Anyways, that's enough about the requirements and items. Now onto the tasks themselves. So these tasks can be completed in any order. You don't have to necessarily follow the order I go through in this guide. The only reason I do this order is it's the easiest way of completing all the tasks as a one set. On that note, you may have already completed some of these tasks during your general adventures across RuneScape, so obviously if you've already completed it and you try and do it again, it's not going to come up with a task being complete window. So what I'd recommend is having a look what tasks you've actually completed first, which is by going to the Heroes tab, which is the helmet with the horns icon, go to Achievements, select Morytania, and just check that any medium tasks have a gold tick next to you. That will mean they're completed and you won't need to do them again. Anyways, enough about that, now onto the actual task. So we're at the Canaphis Lodestone, which can be accessed via the Lodestone network, and this will be our main sort of central point to complete all these tasks. The first task we're going to complete is called Fun Guy But Bitter, and that's to harvest Bittercap mushrooms in the farming patch near Canaphis. So the reason I'm getting you to do this task first is it's likely none of you have any Bittercap mushrooms growing. If you have, then lucky for you. But the Bittercap mushrooms take 4 hours to grow, so I recommend doing planting them right at the very beginning, so then hopefully after you've done all the other tasks and come back to the Bittercap mushrooms, they hopefully might have grown. If not, you only have a little while to wait. Either way, the farming patch is just north of where the gate is that leads you to Mortmire, and you'll see on the mini-map. And literally all you need to do is put the Bittercap mushroom in. There's no chance of them dying from what I'm aware of, so literally all you need to do is plant them in, and then after 4 hours they should be fully grown. And then once you come back and harvest the Bittercap mushrooms, the task will be complete. So the next task is charter a course, and that's to take a trip on a charter ship to the Port Phasmatus dock. So what you need to do is basically go to any other dock and then use the charter ship to go to Port Phasmatus. Now the closest one is in Port Serum, so if you teleport to the Port Serum lodestone, the charter ship is located on this very southern dock, and then all you need to do is right click, select charter, and obviously pay some coins, and that will then take you to Port Phasmatus. And then once you arrive, the task will then be complete. The next task is the yeast they can do, and that's to exchange some Ectotokens for brewing yeast with Materialus in the green ghost in Cellar, and that's what you require 5 Ectotokens for. Now, if you haven't got any Ectotokens, this is what you need to do to obtain them. So literally, near the Ectofuntus, which is very north of Port Phasmatus, you need to basically grind some bones in the bone grinder and then go to the pit where there's a slime pit and obtain some slime with your buckets. When you offer some crushed bones and a bucket of slime to the Ectofuntus, you'll be given some tokens as a reward. So literally, in terms of bones, the nearest ones to get are there's some chickens near the farm just next to it, so you can obviously kill some of them for the bones, and then literally take them upstairs and use them on the bone grinder, and that will crush them into bones, bearing in mind you've got pot in your inventory. While you're up here as well, if you use a silver bar on the Ectofuntus, that's what makes it into silver dust, which you'll need a little bit later on. And then obviously with the slime pit, you just need to go into the trapdoor and follow it all the way around, keep going down the stairs until you reach the bottom, and then use your bucket on the slime pit and your character will automatically fill them up. And then if you've got your Ecto Vial with you, can just use that to teleport back to the top. That's also another task later on, but ignore that bit for now. And then obviously once you've offered them to the Ectofuntus and collect from the disciple who's nearby, he'll give you some Ectotokens, and then you should have enough to actually complete the task. So what you then want to do with your Ectotokens, go to the green ghost in Cellar, and it should be the building with the little beer icon on the mini-map. Go into the cellar and you'll see the brewing area, and you'll see the person called Materialus who you need the Ghostspeak amulet to talk to, and then basically buy some yeast from him for the Ectotokens, and that task will be complete. Don't get rid of the yeast though, because we're actually going to need that for one of the other tasks which we're going to complete next. So the next task is the beer inspector, and that's to start any ale brewing below the Green Ghost Inn. So we're going to need our apples to be unnoted in order to turn them into apple mush, and make sure you've got some buckets in your inventory as well. So if you go to the nearby bank in the town and then come back with unnoted apples, then with the apples you should be able to put them in this barrel over here, and then basically what you'll do is crush them into apple mush, which will then fill up your buckets. So you'll need a few buckets of those in order to actually make some cider. And then what you need to do is basically put 2 buckets of water, 2 barley malt, some ale yeast and your apple mush all into the brew, and then once that's all set up correctly, it should then come up with a task being complete. You don't actually need to wait for it to become fully matured and able to obviously take some cider out of the barrel. All you need to do is start the process. But yeah, once you've done all that, the task will be complete. The next task is obvious forgery, and that's to make a batch of cannonballs in Port Phasmatus. So what you need to do is head to the furnace in the town, and you'll need your steel bar and an ammo mould to make the cannonballs, and then literally self-explanatory, use the steel bar on the furnace, select to make some cannonballs, and once you've done that, the task will be complete. The next task is gate spectorations, and that is to use the western gate of Port Phasmatus. So literally head to the very western wall of Port Phasmatus and you'll see another gate similar to the northern one, and all you need to do is pass through it and the task will be complete. Next task is barking up the wrong tree, and that's to obtain some bark from the hollow trees. So hollow trees are in between Canaphis and Port Phasmatus. If you keep heading through this direction, eventually you should see some hollow trees. All you need to do is chop down a piece of bark, and once you've obtained it, the task will be complete. The next task is who you're going to ring, and that's to use the fairy rings to travel to the haunted woods. So the quickest way of doing this, as we're actually near the specific fairy ring itself, all you need to do is if you head to that one and then choose to use it to go back to Zenaris, and then from Zenaris then ask to return to that fairy ring, which is code ALQ, and as soon as you appear there, the task will be complete. The next task is Izzy Wizzy Let's Get Lizzy, and that's to trap a swamp lizard in the haunted woods, and you'll need a rope and a small fishing net for the net trap. The net on your tool belt won't work, you need to actually have a physical net with you. If you don't have one, you can just get one from the fishing store. There's one in Port Serum, that's quite easy to get. So what you need to do is head to the hunter area within the haunted woods. If you just watch where I'm going, I'll lead you to it, and then you'll see a load of trees where you can set up your trap, which is with the rope and fishing net. All you need to do is set it up, and then as soon as you catch a swamp lizard, it shouldn't take too long, the task will be complete. The next task is Poltergeist, and that's to mine some mithril ore in the abandoned mine, and this is what you need your crystal mine key in order to access the mithril ore. So what you want to do is head to where the abandoned mine is, which is very south of Mire Swamp. So we're going to head in that direction now, and I'll speak to you in a moment. So once you're at the abandoned mine, you want to enter the stairs found at the northeast or northwest surface part of the abandoned mine. Then use the ladder to go to floor 2, and then use the crystal mine key on the large doors to the north. If obviously the key is on your steel keyring, you can just use the keyring on the doors to unlock it as well. But once you've actually got into the area, you then want to mine a piece of your mithril ore, and then once you've obtained some, the task will be complete. The next task is called Admire the Goods, and that's to view the stock in Razmire's Builder's Merchant Shop. So what we need to do is go to the town where the Shades of Morton quest took place, which I'll have displayed on the mini-map, so just watch where I'm going. So once you're at Razmire's shop, you want to speak to him to view the store. If you haven't cured him, which I did get you guys to do in my Shades of Morton quest guide, so hopefully most of you have done that. But if he's not permanently cured, you need to use Serum 207 or Serum 208 on him in order to gain access to the store. To make Serum 207, you just need to add clean Tarraman to a vial of water and then add some ashes, and that will create it. I believe there is a building within the town of Morton where you can search to find some Tarraman and vial and that, and obviously to get ashes all you need to do is light some logs, and then when they've turned to ashes obviously pick them up. But either way, once you've viewed the stock in Razmire's shop, the task will be complete. Now what I'd also recommend you do is buy a Flamtaer hammer from him if you haven't already done that or got one with you, as we're going to need that for the next task. So the next task is called Flamtaer Will Get You Everywhere, and that's to use a Flamtaer hammer to help fix the Shades of Morton temple, which is the little mini game. Now hopefully most of you should remember this from the quest, and probably the possibility is a lot of you have already done this, but what I recommend is actually to go to the Shades of Morton world, because that will be where you'll be able to just quickly complete this task, and that is world 88, so make sure you do that. And then when you're there, all you need to do is head over to where the temple is and help repair it. If you have your Flamtaer hammer in your inventory and just choose to reinforce some of the walls, that should work. If not, just buy some materials from Razmire to actually repair some of the walls itself, and again, as long as you're using your Flamtaer hammer, it should then come up with the task being complete. The next task is plenty more where that came from, and that's to unlock a chest in the Shade Catacombs. So we're going to need a Shade key in order to do this. Now to obtain a Shade key, you need to first of all get some Shade remains, which you can get by killing any of the Shades around the area. And then also what you need to do is make some actual funeral pyre logs in order to successfully burn the Shade properly, which can be made by using normal logs with some sacred oil. So to get secret oil, you need to get some olive oil, which can be bought from the Morton's general store from Razmire. The olive oil must then be blessed on the altar in the little temple, which is northeast in Morton, to be sanctified into secret oil. To do this, you'll need to be able to obviously build and help defend the temple, as was done in the quest, and sanctity will need to be gained by either building or reinforcing the temple walls, or by killing the Shades. When the fire altar in the centre of the temple has been lit, simply use a vial of olive oil on it to create secret oil. You'll also need to make sure that you have 10% sanctity to be able to do this. So once you have your sacred oil, just add it to the logs, and then in this direction over here, sort of southeast I believe of the town, you'll see where there's a load of spots where you can use the Shade remains on the funeral pyre. Then add your sacred pyre logs and burn it. When you then sacrifice the Shade, you'll receive a Shade key, and you want to take this to the Catacombs in order to get a reward and to finish the task. So the Catacombs are in this direction over here, so if you want to follow me, and then depending on what type of key you have, depending on colour and shape, and that will depend where you need to go. Once you've used your shade key on the relevant chest in the Catacombs, the task will be complete. The next task is called Ready Trek, and that's to take a medium companion through a medium route of temple trekking. So this is very similar to the easy task that we completed, where you had to take an easy companion through an easy route. So similar setup. You'll need to make sure you've got things like your druid pouch with charges, silver sickle bless, maybe a little bit of food, things like that. And basically you need to head to Berg de Rot, which is south of Morton, and then using the notice board once again, select the medium leveled companion and then take them through the medium route. I'm not going to talk to you guys through that too much, because you should remember that from the easy tasks. Literally it's just going to be a little bit more difficult this time, but once you successfully get the medium companion to the temple, the task will be complete. So the next task is to hire the badder, and that's to kill anything on the first floor of the Slayer Tower. So again, very similar to easy tasks, apart from we killed something on the ground floor. So what you need to do is go up a level and then kill anything on the first floor that you can. So this has a minimum Slayer requirement of level 45. That's the lowest Slayer skill you need to kill the lowest possible creature. Once you have successfully killed something on the first floor, the task will be complete. The next task is brain bending, and that's to telegrab a pickled brain on a table in the Hair of the Dog Tavern in Canifis. So what we want to do is return to Canifis. So instead of walking, I just teleport back to the lodestone. When you're there, enter the tavern and you should see a pickled brain on the table, and then what you need to do is, using the standard spellbook, use telekinetic grab to grab the pickled brain, and once you've done that, the task will be complete. The next task is I wonder how far it goes, and that's to explore the tunnel from the cellar under the Hair of the Dog. So the tunnel is located under a trapdoor at the back of the inn, not the inside. Once you actually enter the tunnel, you don't need to go all the way through to complete the task, as far as I'm aware. So obviously once you've stepped inside, the task will be complete. If it doesn't come up with that pop-up window, just make sure that you have not completed this task previously, and if you haven't, then maybe you have to go all the way through and then come back in order to finish the task. The next task is Don't Stop Me If I Start to Ramble, and that's to complete a Berg de Rot ramble, and that is to go through a reverse route of the temple trekking. So literally, like the temple trekking activity, we now have to do that, but the reverse, and you can obviously do that by starting at the temple of Patadomus, and in similar setup, choose to go through a route. The task doesn't actually specify whether it needs to be an easy or a medium task, etc. So I would just probably assume that it's going to be a medium one, only because it's saying that it's a reverse route. And again, it'll be very similar to what the temple trekking was, obviously killing different enemies and getting through different obstacles. So once you then do get your companion into the town of Berg de Rot, the task will be complete. The next task is Finding Your Balance, and that is to mix a Guffix balance potion while in Morytania. So this task can be done anywhere as long as it's in the realm of Morytania, and what you need to do is add a piece of garlic to a 3-dose restore potion and then some silver dust. Silver dust is obtained by grinding silver bars in the grinder on the upper floor of the Ectofuntus, as I mentioned earlier on. So literally you can do this anywhere as long as it's within Morytania, so I always try and do this near where the actual ends of the tasks are, so you can speak to the rewards person, and once you've successfully made a Guffix balance potion, the task will be complete. Now if that was your last task, it will come up saying that you've completed all the medium tasks. It could be very possible though, obviously as I mentioned at the beginning of the guide, we had to harvest some Bittercap mushrooms, so if they hadn't fully grown or you've checked back before this particular task, then obviously you'll need to do that to be able to finish them all off. So if that is the case, you'll need to return to your farming patch, which was southeast of Canifis, near the Canifis lodestone, and just wait for those Bittercap mushrooms to grow. Once they have fully grown, harvest them, and then that task should be complete. Obviously after you've done that, if it still hasn't come up saying that you've completed all the tasks, it could mean one or two things. It could be you've clicked through some dialogue too quickly and not seen it come up, or it could be you've not completed one of the tasks correctly. So what I recommend is going back to the achievement section and just checking that all of them have a gold tick next to it. Any that don't, you'll need to obviously go about completing again, but hopefully that shouldn't be the case. So to get our rewards, we need to speak to Robin, who can be found in the Port Phasmatus bar. That's why I said about using the Guffix balance potion as one of your last tasks, so you're nearby to him. But yeah, we're going to head to Port Phasmatus bar now, and I'll speak to you in a minute. So once you've spoken to Robin, he'll congratulate you and give you the following rewards. So well done guys, that is all the medium tasks completed. Quite a lengthy lot there and a few sort of tricky ones to do. However, the rewards you would have got, so you would have got coins awarded on the completion of each task, and that will depend on your skill levels. You'll be given an antique lamp which will give you 10,000 experience for skills above level 46. You'll also get the Morytania Legs 2 from Robin, which will have the following additional benefits. So when worn, cannonballs are smithed twice as fast in Port Phasimatus. You'll have 10% chance of a second blood rune per essence, and that's obviously when you're using the blood altar to craft blood runes. You'll be able to teleport to the slime pit under the Ectofuntus 5 times daily, and at all times Robin will convert up to 13 set of bones into the corresponding bone meal and buckets of slime. He doesn't accept noted bones though. Razmire will offer 3 planks daily, a choice of 10 teak, 20 oak or 30 normal ones. A pyre log storage chest become available for use in Morton, and haunted tools in the abandoned mine are no longer aggressive. So a few rewards there. Some of them are actually quite handy depending on the sort of activities you do, but considering the length of all the medium tasks, it's good they actually give you sufficient rewards to accommodate that. So overall, these tasks shouldn't be too tricky for you to complete as long as you follow my instructions carefully. If for any reason you do get stuck on any of them at all, then obviously let me know in the comment section below and I'll help you out as best I can. If not, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, favourite, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. Thanks for watching everyone. Bye bye.